In this video, I'm going to show you how quick and easily you can scrape data from the web by using Power BI. And in this example, I'm going to be using IMDb's action shows and showing you how you can pull not only the main page that shows you the top 50, but then multiple pages after that. So with that in mind, let's head over to my browser. You can find this page easily if you just go into the IMDb site, but if you just want to jump right to it, I've got the link in the description below. But as you can see, we have a page here where it's got the top 50 action TV shows based on popularity. And at the moment we can see 50 here because it's showing 1 to 50 as part of it, but there are actually 11,266 titles in the whole part here. But this one page just shows you the top 50. And just to prove that, if we scroll all the way down, we can see down here the last one is 50. So if you just wanted to get the top 50 of a page or just a single page of any website, all you would have to do is just find the page you want, take the URL, copy it like that, then head over to Power BI, and then within Power BI, go to Get Data, and then go down to Web. Once you're in web, just paste in the URL there, do OK, and then once that's finally loaded in, you'll get brought to a navigator that gives you a few little parts that you can play around with to find the data you exactly need. Because it's using Power Query has already sort of guessed what you might want, so it's created these tables here, but you can add tables using examples, and also you can actually view the web to actually see what the different parts are, so you can kind of figure out what it is you want to pull and create in those different examples. But the majority of the time, Power Query does a great job of being able to get the information you need. So if we look at the first table, we can see we've got column 1, which looks like the count of all the different shows, because if you remember, Kaleidoscope was top, and then number 50 I think was the terminal, it's not giving you all the view at the moment. And then we've got the name of the show, we've got the year it was released or where it's running to, in this case from 2011 to 2019, which is Game of Thrones, should have guessed that. And then the type that's in there, because these are all action's the main one, but then you've got other subcategories to it. So you've got action adventure, action drama, thriller, etc. And then you've got the rating here, and then we've got a description of what the show is, and then we've got the number of actual votes, if I remember rightly, because good thing about going here, you can go to here, so you got votes, so that's 23,000. So you can just double check 23,000. Yep. And then you got who it stars. So you got your main star and then the extra actors underneath. And then you've got the actual main stars broken out here. So you can see all the different stars who are in the show. It looks like it only does 4. And then you got rate this, which you wouldn't need. And then 10, which I'm assuming must be something related to just the scoring, I'm assuming. Yeah, because we got here 10, and then we got X, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then votes, and then this looks like that's 15, 18. That's probably the rating. Yeah, so it's 15. Which one was 18? Let's keep going. Game of Thrones, 18, which is line number 6 or 7. 6. We go along, and 6. Yep, Game of Thrones. So that is correct. So now we know that's rating. And then we've got the time run in minutes for, I'm assuming, each episode, but some of these seem quite long, but maybe the episodes are long. I haven't watched Kaleidoscope yet, although it is on my list. That gives you everything there, but it doesn't give you headers. So let's just see if we get headers on any of the others. This one looks like it's just giving you the rating and what the show is. And this is just giving you the runtime and the type of show. So yeah, you don't have all the information there. But like I said, you can, where you can do add table using examples. And if you started typing in, say, let's pick rating as 1. So we do 1.8. Oh, this has not done the point. There we go, 1.8, that. And then the next one is 9.4. And then it's guessed. The next one is 8, which is correct. And then the next one's very faint, but you can read it just about. And then Willow is 5.5, and the next one is 7.2. And yeah, there you go, 7.2. That's how you can kind of use the table examples one to get the data, but that's only if you haven't had the luck with the actual tables that Power Query has already figured out for you. So this one is actually really good. We don't have the actual titles of what it is, but you don't really have that on here anyway. Nothing tells you this is what number 1 means. We only know that's popularity because that's what it says there. We know this is the show name. We know this is the runtime because we know we're looking at it, but there's no actual titles to do that. So we just add those in. So that's absolutely fine. So once you're happy with what table you got there, all you have to do is click on it like that, and then you could just load it in. But because there's stuff in there we don't need, and also we want to put the titles in and everything, we want to transform the data. So if we go transform data, and then once you're in here, we can start looking at what we don't need. We want that because we can sort by different ways, but if we wanted to stick with what was the most popular one, we don't have the logic that IMDb used to make popular. So at least we still got that sort order here if we want to use it. But if we want to sort by alphabetical of the name, the rating, the run times, anything like that, we can do all that, but we can always revert back to popularity. So we want to keep that. So let's go column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. And for some reason we've got 2 ratings there. So let's keep column 5, column 7, rating. Do you want the group of stars, or do we have all separate stars? Let's have each star separately. We don't want to rate this. We don't want the 10s and everything there. The actual age rating, and then we can also include the runtime as well. So if we selected all those, we can then do remove other columns. So that just keeps the ones we actually wanted. Yep. So now we got our new set there. And then it's just going to be a simple case of renaming all these titles, which I can do. So let's start with the first one, which is pop rank. And then I'm going to quickly fill out all the rest so you don't have to sit here and watch me do this. Now we got all those renamed. Let's just update this from table name to, let's call this pop rating TV shows, and let's say top 50, because that's all we're focusing on at the moment. So now we got that saved. We now have the top 50, and if we just close, load and apply. So now that's loaded in, let's have a look what it looks like in the table. So as you can see, we now have a whole table of all that data we saw on the website in literally no time at all. If I didn't show you how to do the extra bits and everything like that, you could literally just paste it in, find the table, click on the table, get the information, post it in, do that in less than a minute. It literally is as fast as that. The good thing is, once it's connected, all you have to do, if you come back into your saved file, is just refresh it. And it's as simple as just going refresh, and then it will refresh with the latest data from whatever point you do it at. And also if you publish it and then you've got scheduled refresh, you can do that. Let's just say you wanted to get more than just 50 top TV shows. You just wanted to go in and then look at the next page. So we see here, we got next. So we go next, and then we could just go, here you go, here's the next one. Let's say if you want to copy that, but let's not copy that yet. Let's just go back to our web scrape here, go back here, duplicate this, then you got 2, you go source name, and then let's go back to the website and copy it. Now copy, and then let's just minimize it, and then you see here we can just click on the little cog, replace that. Now we've got the new one in, and then just to prove that, let's go in here. We can see 51 all the way down to 100, and there you go, that's your page. And then if you want to join them, you could append them. But imagine you've got 11,000 and what is it, 266 or something TV shows. Would you really want to sit there, duplicate, copy, do that, do it, go in, do. Once it's done, yeah, fine. But then if more TV shows come, then you got to bear in mind that some of those are going to move. So then you always have to update it and everything. So you'll be like, this is long. This is extremely long if you were to do that. So what can you do to suddenly just go, why don't I just look to see where the next one is and pull that information without having to duplicate this all the time? Well, it's actually very simple. All you would need to do is figure out what is the logic for each page. Now, if we go back to this page and click on the source, if we study what the actual URL is doing, we can understand what's going on with it. So if we look here, we can see it's telling us TV series, and then genre equals action. So we know it's the action. And then it starts equal 1. And then if we go to the next one, we can see same information equals that, start equals 51. If we know there's 50, we know that technically the logic that it's showing here is the next page to go into the third one, which would be all for, was that 101 to 150, would be 101. Now, if we go back to the website, if we click next again, this should say 101 if that logic is true. And there we go. 101 exists. And if the next one will be 151, and there we go. That has worked. Because we know that, what we would want to do is almost run a table that would do a circular push into that particular URL to go, if this, pull the information, and then if this, pull the information. So all we want is a table that basically has 1, 51, 101, and so on and so forth, and keep going up by 50. Now, you could sit there in Excel and do the thing of like 50 plus 50, but you can actually do something even more clever in Power Query. Of course you can. Power Query. So what you can do is do a number list generator. So if we go back to our Power BI, we want to create basically a table that lists what we need. So if we open up this, we want to call, let's give it a name. We're going to this because this is what the tables are going to be on. So if we actually call this what we want to call this, there's pop action TV shows. And then in here, we want to generate a list. So if we go equals, and let's type in list, and then technically it's .generate, but if you start typing in Power Query without doing the dot, it gives you the name. So you see there, I've put no dot here, and then automatically you can see it's populated. If I do the dot, you don't always know where it is. So what? That makes no sense. But if you do that without the dot, it gives you exactly what you want, even though the dot's there. Don't know why Power Query does this, but it does. But that's a good way of getting around it. So now you know you got your list generate. What we want to do is generate a list down here that is going to basically give us what is our starting point and greater than, and then push it. And then we want to have an endpoint that is going to run to. And we could do it all the way up to the 11,000, everything like that, but it might take a little while for the actual thing to pull through all the data. So we don't want to spend too much time waiting around for the data. So let's try and just go with the top 1,000. So we're going to pull through 1 to 1,000 of the most popular TV shows. And that should be enough data to play around with. So to do this, after you typed in your list generate with its open bracket, is to do an open and close bracket. So what we want to do is make it so it is equal to or greater than 1. So we want to do an equal sign and then the right arrow. And the point there is going to be 1 because we know 1 is the first one because we saw that in the first URL. And then we want to do a comma. And then if we return down, we now need to set, okay, now we know what we want to be greater than. Where's the cutoff? So we want it to be up to and less than. So we got this whole run of numbers. For this, I said 1,000, but because we're starting at 1, we want to do 1,001 just to ensure that it covers what we need, because we know each one ends in a 1. So it's 1, 51, 101. So we know it's going to end in 1001. So for this, we want to type in each and then set an underscore. And now we want to do less than and equal to 1001. And now that will give us what we need for each part to run to and from. Now we just need to tell it what is the step amount we want it to grow to. And because we know it's always jumping up in 50s, we want to say, give us a number where it goes 1 and then add 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. So we get 1, 51, 101, 151, so on and so forth. So we turn down again and we go each and then underscore, and then we just type in plus 50 and then we're done. And then we just go to the close bracket, press return, and there's our table. Magic. So now we have our list of numbers in this format. We now need to convert this to a table. So we right click to table, or you can go up here and do to table. And then here we do OK. And now it's converted to table. And even though these are numbers, what we want to do is actually set this to text. So if you click on where it says the ABC123 and then do text, you now set this as text. The reason being is what we're going to do next is alter the URL to pull through these numbers into the space of over here. Now the great thing is, because we've already done these transformations already and we have all this information, when we pull through each one, it will add them automatically. So whenever you're doing a web scrape, it's always good to get the source of what you want all cleaned up, all transformed, ready to go. And then that's when you want to do all the rest of the transformations after. I mean, you can do it the other way and just bring through the information and then clean it up afterwards, but it's sometimes better to do it from the source and then bring it all through. So what we need to do is, if we go up to actual source, I'll click on the right one, there we go. And we can see this is what we want to change. If we go to home, then we go to advanced editor. Now in advanced editor, it is not that scary. It is great because what you can see is each step. So this is source, this is that one, this is that one, this is that one, and this is that one. And this just gives you a layout of all the M code that is there. What we want to be able to do is change this part there to be now looking at our new pop action TV shows table. We want it to go 1, 51, 101, etc. To do this, we need to create a parameter. So if we turn this down, we want to go equals open bracket, and we want to set what our parameter is going to be called. Now, as this is just a page number, I'm just going to call it page. Simple. And then, because remember I said about setting it as text, this is the reason, because when we set it in here, it needs to be text. We're going to call this as text, so it knows what it's going to be once you pass through a particular table with all the numbers in it. And once you've written page as text, because we've got that sorted, then you just need to put in an equal sign and a right arrow. And this will mean it's now pointing, ready to be used. Now, what we have to do is go over to our 1, because that's what we're going to be changing. And as this is text, we want to create 2 quotation marks, and then we want to go back in the middle of the quotation mark. And then here, we want to do 2 and signs with page, what we've written here, because whatever word you put here as text, so it's that word there, is what goes between the 2 quotation marks and the 2 and sign. So if you called it, I don't know, number, then you type number. It doesn't matter what you call it, it's just whatever name you call it, that's what you put in the middle. So then we do and sign, and then page, and then another and sign, and then we've got it there. So we got, instead of a 1, quotation mark, then an and sign, then page, and then an and sign, and then another quotation mark. And if you click done, we now have our parameter. Now you'll be thinking, oh, what's all this mean? Don't worry about that. That's not where we're going to invoke on this part here. What we're going to do is go up to this table here and go invoke custom function. So we go back to our table, which has all the numbers in it, and then you can give it a name if you want, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to do this particular function query, and then we got to pick the column which is being used, which is column 1 here. And then if we click OK, so we've created from the table here. I think actually what I'll do, just to kind of make this a little bit easier, as you notice it's got FX next to it. A good idea, so you don't get confused with the names, just add FX at the front. Then that way, if we go back here and do invoke custom function, you'll notice now we have FX in front of it, so you know it's definitely that. And then again, we only got column 1. If there are more columns, you can select them. Now we do OK, and then after a little bit, you'll have this table come up. And now if you click on each table, you'll notice down here, if we just bring this up a little bit, it's now bringing through 1 to 50, but it's only showing up to 20. And then we got 51, and it's going up to 70. But then that means technically it should be 101, yeah, 151, yeah, 201, so on and so forth. You're just checking it's actually putting information. As you can see, it's even given the titles and everything because you did all those transformations earlier. Now all you have to do is click on the 2 arrows pointing outwards, and then remove the bit where it says use original prefix. We don't want that. And then we do OK. And then we can just get rid of that column because all that's telling you is the top numbers that we had here. So we don't need it. If we just remove, we now have more than 50. See, we're now up to 51, and then we keep going, and it goes up and up and up and up and up. And then obviously you can change the amount you want to put. If you want to do 2,000, you can do 2,000, but it's as simple as that, just to keep rolling through. So any times you need to go through to different pages, that's all you have to do. It's just finding out what that logic is and putting it into a form of a table and then invoking that custom function. So now if we close and apply, and then after about a minute, we will now have our whole table here. And also I forgot to disable this one, so this is still bringing back through that old table. Let's just delete this one for now. Delete from model. Let's do that. Boom. And now we're just left with the one that we just wanted. Now, if we just wanted to have a little play around the data to see what we got, if we go and say, let's just create a table and we want to know what the average is. I haven't set anything for any of the data here. If we go votes, let's change that to whole number. Star rating to decimal place, and it's 1 decimal place, and let's do that as average for now. I'm not going to bother creating measures for this. Let's just have a quick look at what we got on the data, and let's pull in, say, TV show and votes. Let's actually had the 1,000 splitter, comma really helps, and then we just call that votes instead of sum of votes. Without without the hash. Fat fingers. Then let's go with star rating, average star rating, and because it's the actual shows, it's not really giving an average, it's actually telling you what it is. Let's put year released, and let's put in episode length, age rating, and then maybe description. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if we bring that in a bit, all right, that's quite large, so that's fine. Just create a table that's got this information, and then we can start looking at who's got the highest rating. The Last of Us has got the highest rating at the moment on the basis of popularity. So let's actually just drop in the pop ranking at the beginning. Let's also bring in the description a bit. There we go. Yeah, so we can see Game of Thrones third, Avatar. There are a few that are over 9, Game of Thrones with the highest. And so then what we can do, see who's got the most votes. Probably Game of Thrones, yeah. And by miles, look at that. Over 2 million votes. And then Prison Break with over 500, Vikings over 500. Still don't watch that, I need to watch it. Boys, but Game of Thrones overall, generally by votes and highest rating, would claim that to be the greatest TV show. I would say it was until the last couple of seasons, but it's still a very good show if you don't really get too annoyed at the ending or just the way it was written in the end when they run out of books. But that's a totally different thing. And here we have Money Heist. Actually enjoyed that. Squid Games. Surprisingly, Money Heist is higher than Squid Game. I did enjoy Money Heist. Mitty, I haven't watched the last season. Witch is good. Boys is good. Mandalorian is really good. Vikings, like I said, I haven't watched. Prison Break, not watched. WandaVision was alright. Well, Loki was better than WandaVision, and actually it's higher. So if you look at the rating, yeah, you could go on the website and look at that, but this gives you a good breakdown, because then what we could do is then go, because we have that setting of type, we can use that as a means to be able to go, well, what's the average rate and how many are there? So if we go average star rating, I'm going to bring this in a bit just so we can see, and then if I bring this out, yes, leave it like that for now, and let's do a count, see how many there are. Maybe I can just use the TV show name. Let's go there, and let's just go count, and then count of TV shows. Yeah, that's good. Then we can see how many there are. Then we can understand, in the grand scheme of things, what ones show up. So if we go, what's the most? So animation. Actually, animation seems to be the highest amount of shows that go animation, action, adventure, which is crazy to think. There are that many animations out there that fall under action, but I guess they are because you've probably got a lot of different manga. Although looking at it, there's lots of different ones. DuckTales, would you count that as action adventure? Probably. I used to watch that. Chainsaw Man, still need to watch that. It's not rated. So we can see how many are there. Because of age rating, let's add in the age rating, because let's see if we've got a mixture of age rating. So we've got our animation. Now we've got a higher one. So animations will split out. So action, crime, drama without a rating for all these. And maybe we just want to look at anything that's a show that's over a certain amount of rating. So let's go star rating slicer. Where is my slicers? There you are. And let's do star rating and bring it down a bit. There we go. And let's bring it down there. There we go. And then let's go star rating. And then let's do votes. And votes is not giving me a slider. There we go. And then let's just add in type. So we don't have to click on these, we can just select. And let's make that drop down. Let's add in search. There we go. So we do animation. Anything with animation in it. There we go. So we got a nice mixture of stuff there. The highest is the PGs. There are some 18s in there, as expected. And then we got some blanks as well. So we can see all different ones. And then if we only wanted to look at of these, which of these are top votes and above, let's say 8.5 star rating. So there we go. Attack of the Titans, the highest voted, but not the highest star rating. We do the highest star rating, Avatar, but based on votes and rating, popularity kind of at the top. It's probably a good one to watch. And then if we wanted to completely change what we're looking at, should we go with something that's comedy in it? Let me remove, and then let's just type in comedy. There we go. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And the most votes, the boys. And then we know the star rating and who's the top. So Fighting Spirit. Don't actually know that one. Might be worth checking out. This is all the fun part, because you can now, you've pulled the data and then you can start looking at it and use it as a means for you to be kind of go like, oh, what's my bits that I want to know, and what's the top and how many votes, and you know, what should I watch next? You can make your own little TV show aggregator for what to watch next based on your preferences, all just by doing that. And then all you have to do when you want to refresh the data to get the latest lot, to click refresh and it's done, and you don't have to sit there and plow through the website, find all that information again. Got it all there. You can just have a play around with it. So now you know how to web scrape. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to be web scraping, or any like little touches you've done using the same data that I've used here from IMDb, or any other parts of the site that you've used to web scrape to come up with a great little idea. Let me know. Or if you fancy learning something else, check out these videos over here to carry on your analytical journey. So with that in mind, until next time.